And welcome on back, everyone, to episode 85 of Streaming with the Mouse. My name is Clifton Paul Robinson, and today we have a double feature for you as we'll be breaking down the last two episodes of Bad Batch, Reunion, and then Bounty Lost. So get ready, and you're listening to Streaming with the Mouse. And welcome on back, everyone, to episode 85 of Streaming with the Mouse. My name is Clifton Paul Robinson, and joining me as always is my co-host, my buddy, the Alpha to my Omega. I can make that joke today. Cam Ramos. Cam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm pumped to read, or not read. I'm pumped to talk about Star Wars. It's been too long. It really has. We're about to talk about Bad Batch and two great episodes that I think work well to be doubled up on for sure.
Yeah, to me, this is just one long episode.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. Disclaimer, if you hear a little humming in the background, it is currently 94 degrees in Boston, but with the heat index and everything, it's actually 104. So my air conditioner is running in the background. So I apologize, but I do not at the same time.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry is the best way to say it. But wow, these two episodes were this is the first time I've been caught off guard, I think is the best way to say.
Yes.
Like it's been like, okay, I see it, and then oh wow, that's something.
Well, what's funny, obviously we talked about it in the last Loki episode, but obviously we get the return of Cad Bane in episode 8 and 9. And it was funny because right before I watched 8 by accident, I just went to Twitter, which I never do until I watch the episode because I don't want to get spoiled. And somebody posted like, I can't stop thinking about Clone Wars and what's the kid from Fallen Order's name?
Cal
Kestis. I was
going
to say Kaz. Cal's lightsaber. So I was like, oh my god, this is who the big reveal is. It's going to be Cal. It's going to be an episode of Bad Batch. And I just got spoiled. So I was waiting there the whole time. Okay, when's Cal coming? When's Cal's coming? And then all of a sudden it was Cad Bane. I was like, oh my god. It took me for a loop and I was pumped. It was awesome. What a reveal. What a great couple episodes here.
Cal would be interesting to see. I know there's been a lot of talk about Cal joining the actual live action. Obviously, it's based around a very popular actor. Would be interesting. I saw people already fan casting Omega for Book of Boba Fett, which would be kind of interesting. The choice was Scarlett Johansson, which I just think they throw random names, random popular names to a board to see if they stick. Omega can't be played by a famous person. In my personal opinion, or an up-and-coming famous person is the better way to say. But I have one piece of news, and it's coming off the back of Professor Bond, who sent us, I think, just a message, just with like the title of the Mysterious Benedict Society. I have not watched it. I know you have not watched it. You would have told me if you did.
No.
Rave reviews.
I'll get to it eventually.
Rave reviews from it. Pretty cool. It's just interesting how they're doing it. Like, it very much seems to me it falls into that line of like Umbrella Academy, the series of unfortunate events, like a very like pop, like, because I believe it was a book.
Yeah.
And obviously, Umbrella Academy is very different from a series of unfortunate events. But like doing that thing where kooky family that has powers do things, and good way to do a remake. So this is the first time it's been on. It's on the list. We'll talk about it eventually. I still have like 8 episodes of High School Musical, the musical series to catch up on because I am lazy. But as always, I watch Star Wars and Loki right away, and it is time. Unless you have any news that snuck between the cracks.
I've got nothing. Besides, I know this isn't like Disney Plus, but like Abomination looked sick in the Shang-Chi trailer. So excited about that. And we are a couple, like probably about like 10 days or so away from Black Widow to come out in theaters and on Disney Plus premiere access. So pretty excited. Lots of good stuff happening right now.
Lots of good stuff. I saw a rumor. I think they're just throwing Matt Murdock's name to a board to see what he sticks in. Also, I saw something that said Matt Murdock is going to be introduced in Hawkeye.
Good.
Which then my question is Hawkeye then to be come out before Spider-Man, and then he sneaks into Spider-Man?
I just want Matt Murdock so bad. I want Daredevil so bad back in the MCU, or officially in the MCU, I guess. I want it so bad. I need it.
And with Charlie Kirk, right? That's his name? Or what's his Charlie Cox. Charlie
Yep.
Cox. I feel like that's the only way though that they'll successfully be able to bring
Yeah.
Daredevil back with
It
that
has to be with
actor.
them. Yes.
Like replace anyone else other than
No, no,
him,
no, no,
other than
no,
him,
no.
and other
Bring
than
back
him,
bring back the Mighty Ducks kid for Foggy Nelson. Bring back Deborah Wolf or whatever her name is back for the other one. No, yeah, keep them the same.
Vincent D'Onofrio has to say the same. I would, if I had to choose, if you here's the question for before we jump into Bad Batch. If you had to choose, if you could only have one, would you rather have Charlie Cox as Daredevil or Vincent D'Onofrio as I can't think of his name right now
Kingpin.
as
That's a
Kingpin?
very,
That's a
very
mean
difficult
question.
position. I feel like you could put Vince Vaughn in the Kingpin role and it wouldn't be terrible.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, like a big guy. You could put him as Kingpin. No, not Vince Vaughn. Who am I thinking of? Vin Diesel. That is who I'm thinking of. Oh my god, not Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. I'm like, wow, that would be
No,
quite
Vin Diesel is who I'm
quite.
thinking of. You
I
could put Vin Diesel in there, and I think it'd be fine. But no, that's so tough.
and that's
I'm gonna go Vincent D'Onofrio.
and that's
I'm
actually
gonna go Kingpin.
that's actually a trick question. The correct answer is John Bernthal as Punisher. Well, I think John Bernthal works just because he's like the exact like look
Yeah,
of Punisher. But no, that was a mean question.
Yeah,
That was mean.
that was
I'm
very rude.
sorry. I apologize. But now it is time. We'll be talking about out of the two episodes, which one was your favorite?
Uh, Probably 8. I would say is probably my favorite,
Really,
just for the reveal.
reunion.
Yeah, just for the reveal, and I love the way we'll talk about it. I love the way they filmed Hunter getting back on the ship from like his POV. I thought that was really interesting. You seems like didn't like that. But
No,
I
I
did.
did. I did. It just gives me flashbacks to playing Call of Duty in middle school.
Fair.
It very much was like, soap, get on the chopper, soap.
Fair.
I would say 9. 8 was really good. 8 would probably be like 8 and 9 are definitely gonna be like we're gonna look back because this is the pinnacle of the season. This is the switch. This is where
Yeah.
This is where stuff gets real. Everything's even more important now.
The stakes are so high right now.
Yeah, mistake one false step and you're done here. So I would say 9 over 8, but 8 is probably like gonna be right after 9, like
Sure.
in rankings. So episode 9 reunion, the batch finds themselves cornered on treacherous terrain. So we're starting off right away in back on Camino. Finally, we kept saying every week you got to be right once in a while when you keep saying Crosshair will be in the next episode, and he is, where Rampart and Lama Su are discussing about how they've been alerted on Braca that Clone Force 99 is there. Crosshair enters, sees Hunter on the hologram, and Lama Su is like, these guys are important. We need them. They're highly skilled assets. And Rampart doesn't care. Rampart's like, they're deserters. Just go and terminate them. And Crosshair just puts on his helmet and walks away. So we're seeing an important thing where do loyalties lie and what's the importance of this? And we see right away the conflicting interests of Camino and the Empire. We knew this was already happening, but it's on full display about what's worth money and what's not. And it was a short opening, but it spoke a lot of important words.
Yeah, I mean, you just talked about the differences, I guess, between Camino and the Empire. We see like differences within Camino itself in the very next episode too. So it definitely sets the tone for it. Definitely sets the tone for Crosshair. He's still in that good soldiers follow orders kind of mentality, obviously with the inhibitor chip. So very interesting to see. I'm interested to see, like, depending on how long the inhibitor chip is infecting Crosshair, does that play any role? Like, if they are able to remove it, is he still brainwashed because it's been in there for so long? So I'm interested to see how long the inhibitor chip does, how much it takes away from his personality into that Order 66 personality. We'll see.
What personality?
Fair, fine. But, like, you know what I mean. I wanted to see if he would be, like, even able to go back to Clone Force 99. I don't know, but definitely a very short opening scene, but definitely gets the job done. And what the mid-season finale at this point is what episode 8 is, really tries to get at.
That's a good question. What is going on in his mind right now, especially because they boosted it so much?
Right.
But then we know that when Wrecker had it, it's like he's trying to fight the chip, but the chip
Right.
wins. So I
Right.
wonder, is Crosshair still trying to fight the chip, um, or did he just give into it? Is he just accepting what he is? Um, we'll see. Obviously, something happens later on that makes it turn for the worse. But
Right.
as we're on Braca, Wrecker, with his specialty, is teaching Omega how to disassemble thermal detonators and just pretty much teaching her bomb squad duty. Um,
Just a terrible, terrible father figure. I know he plays more the brother in this, but this is just so dumb to teach this little kid. She's so afraid. I feel so bad for her.
um, and it's really funny. They're doing like the cut the wire, cut the cable. She cuts the wrong one, and they run away. But then it turns out it is just a smoke bomb. Oh, haha, good joke. And
It's mortifying.
mortifying her, completely ruining Omega. Um, but he reassures her that it's okay. That's why they're training her, and they would never train her with a live explosive. And Echo then tells Wrecker and Omega that Hunter wants to see them, and as well as how the test went, as well as it could go. Uh,
Yes.
but Wrecker reassures her that he failed his first disassembly as well, and she'll get it the next time. And of course, as always, as they are going back to meet with Hunter, lo and behold, scrappers show up ready for a fight. They try to escape, and you really see Wrecker's strength as he completely grabs on to this lift, trying to pull it down. Can't fully, but they're able to overpower the Wrecker or the scrappers. But then when they know that they have this company, they run into the ship itself, trying to escape and also look for these new for stuff to sell to Sid. Crazy amount of like little battles as it goes along.
Yeah.
Um, and it's an interesting way to see because they are like, we can make money off this ship. We can finally get out of debt to Sid. And they know that this ship is not being touched because of the Dianoga that's hidden in like the water of it.
Right.
So uh, they're definitely smart compared to the average clone. They're smarter than the average clone for sure.
They're like little bounty hunters. They think like a bounty hunter. Right now, they're really thinking guild wise, like how do I get the credits so we can pay off Sid and all this other stuff. So it's funny because they're not bounty hunters, but they're thinking along the lines of them. If that makes sense.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, I could see that being the path they go if they survive.
Right.
I definitely see that's the path for Omega. That's weird. Dave Filoni really likes bounty hunters because Grogu's on the path technically to become a bounty hunter,
Right.
especially with what we know the future holds for Luke Skywalker for Skywalker Academy.
Right.
R.I.P. So there's so many ways that they're going about this, and if we see Omega in Book of Boba Fett, she's definitely going to be like a bounty hunter. She's got to be, right?
Yeah, I would think so. It'd be cool to see her team up with Fennec in Book of Boba Fett, especially based off what we see in Episode 9 with Fennec.
Absolutely. Well, how old would she be in Book of Boba? Well, Book of Boba Fett's going to span across many.
Yeah, so it's tough to say. I mean, at least 40, 50 years old, maybe? No,
Yeah,
not 50, but close to 40.
maybe 40.
Yeah.
So then they go on a treasure hunt, and Hunter is hoping to get a few of the weapons, like special Galactic Republic weapons that will be worth enough to wipe out any debt with Sid that they have. And Echo says that they're soldiers, not smugglers, but without the Republic, there is no soldiers for them to be anymore. And like you said, like bounty hunters, they believe it's time to seize the opportunity. That's more Han Solo though than bounty hunter.
Sure.
So Tech adds that the intelligence from the bridge's central system has the potential to be worth far more than any weapon because that contains tons of information about Republic patterns and everything like that. So Hunter sends Tech to the bridge to gather any intelligence, and Omega asks about the stunned prisoners of the scrappers, and they say they'll be fine, but they need to grab what they get before the scrappers wake up and can alert that someone is there. So then they make it to the munitions depot, where Omega finds the crate of explosives and informs Wrecker, who is a child on Christmas Day.
It's unbelievable. He's just so excited to just blow things up. And I respect it, I appreciate it, but my God, it just what I got. Wrecker's just a dude's dude.
He's he's very excited for those proton. He's like a big puppy, the puppy with a
Yes.
ball. So they find that they're proton torpedoes, and Wrecker is ecstatic. And Omega asks he can show her how to fire them. Can't do that right now,
No.
not the best thing. And then Tech contacts Omega while they're having this conversation via the comlink, saying that he needs her on the bridge. And then Wrecker is then kissing the weapon.
So funny. So funny.
So yeah,
They do a good job with this character.
they really do. It's very one dimensional, but it's a good kind of one dimensional.
It's a good like little comedic relief, like especially with how tense it gets later, because he can have those tense moments, but he can also have these really cute, funny moments, kind of a thing, where he's just obsessed with wrecking things and weapons.
Honestly, a fun person. Obviously, they all look like Tamora Morrison in real life,
right.
But a really fun person to play Wrecker would absolutely be the actor that played the Mountain.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because he has the voice for it, too. It's very much his voice.
Nice and grounded and stuff.
Just some good CGI on the face. Look like Tamora. So then, while this is happening, Hunter and Echo transport a crate of weapons, and it keeps circling back to paying off the debt to Sid. And Echo says they would not have had to worry about that if they had followed Rex.
Right.
Very good point. They would not have had to worry about it. But I wonder if Sid would have sent people after them.
Potentially, you just have more bounty hunters, but I like that Echo's the one that's making this point because he obviously has that relationship and that connection with the Rex. And it's interesting to see because, yes, he's going with Clone Force 99 here and he's going with the Bad Batch, but how much he would wish to be with his old pal was interesting.
But I think Hunter likes Rex as well. Obviously nothing, like, we know that Echo and Rex created a lot of the stuff that, Echo keeps getting better and better because this was a very good Echo episode as well. But while this conversation is happening, Hunter replies that Rex is on a different path to them, but Echo says they're soldiers, and right now they don't even have a path.
Right.
And then,
it's kind of sad in a way, because that's what they were literally made for, and now they're trying to find their place in this world while also protecting Omega, I guess, at the same time. It's very interesting.
It is, and that's also the thing with Rex, is it's sad in the end, because when we meet Rex and Rebels, him, Wolf, and I always forget his name, and Gregor are running away. They're running away from the battle, which means whatever we know Rex is doing right now fails, which is very sad to think. But Rex does end up becoming a soldier again, and we know he's on Endor for the final battle. So when Omega gets to the bridge, Tech is doing data stuff, making sure what's still intact, and he's transferring the files, but still needs to copy the actual master drive. And he tells Omega that the master drive is under the panel, where she starts to work away at it. And very interestingly, Omega asked Tech what war was like for them.
Yeah.
And Tech, with a very Tech mission answer, says that it was the primary mission objective, comprised of battles on various fronts. And Omega asks what it was like for Tech, and he says, "I just told you." He's a weird dude.
Yeah.
Wrong person to ask.
Yeah, that's a more, hey, Echo, hey, Hunter, what was this like? Not really Tech, because Tech is that, though. But you know what? It's weird, yes, but like also like that is Tech, so like good character placement, I guess, for that kind of question.
But Echo is also the wrong. Hey, Echo, how was it being a prisoner of war?
That's fair. So yeah, that could bring up some.
I think Hunter is the only person that makes sense.
I mean, Wrecker would just tell you tales of like, oh, one time I blew this up, then I blew this up,
exactly.
I blew this up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wrecker would be telling you how great war is.
But
Hunter would tell you exactly what it was.
He'd shoot you straight.
He would tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So as this is happening, the proximity sensors start to beep, and Tech says that, it means there's an approaching ship, but it's just a short circuit. But it's not. As a new class attack transport shuttle lands, and it's one of the Imperial ones, or actually no, the Republic ones. And when Hunter asks if it's more scrappers, Tech replies that it's the Empire.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Exactly what we need at this moment.
Exactly what we need. And then we go back to Camino, where Nala Se meets with Lama Su, who tells them that they can no longer delay, especially because the mission on Braca poses a serious threat to their contingency plan that we don't know it yet. We have a better idea what it is after these next episodes.
Right.
But I forget. Is Nala Se the one that was close with Boba Fett?
I always forget which one's
I
which. If I'm being
think it
honest, I've been trying to think
was
of it. Yeah, I think so too.
because that explains a lot. Also,
Yes, I believe it was Nalase. If I could be very wrong, somebody correct us if we are, but I believe that is true.
um, and then Lamasu says that as they sent another bounty hunter, but as long as one gets them, one gets Omega, that's all that matters. So we are
Right,
also confirmed who went after Omega.
right.
I don't think it was that big of a surprise.
No, but it's nice to have that confirmation that
It's a
it's fact.
confirmation.
Yeah,
And then back on Braca, we know that the Bad Batch sees or watches from the bridge as Crosshair gets off with his clone troopers, and they're called Elite Squad troopers, the all black ones. I think
yeah.
we know where these guys are heading.
Do you think so though? Because I don't know. Because the toys even say Elite Squad Troopers, so maybe it's gotta be different from Death
Oh, I
Troopers. But
no,
I
I
can't
think they're
imagine.
Elite Squad troopers now.
But you think they will be Death Troopers
This is
eventually?
the alpha. This is the first.
Sure,
This is the test, especially with what happens at the end of this episode.
sure. Okay.
He's
Yeah. So
going
you think
towards a
they'll be
way.
eventually Death? So yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So Tech says the Crosshair won't be able to sense them because he is jamming their sensors.
Hmm.
And Hunter replies that that won't stop Crosshair, and they need to get out of here.
Yeah.
So this is nice because we see both sides. We see Crosshair now. He's inspecting his clone troopers, and they say that on the cruiser there was a power surge detected, but they don't know if there's any life forms because they're not getting anything from the scanner. And right away, Crosshair knows they're being jammed by the Bad Batch, which this is the worst enemy of the Bad Batch because Crosshair
He knows them.
was like we know that Hunter was the tracker, but Crosshair is like the sniper, the scout. He knows everything,
Right. Right.
like which is they're very much the same because probably if Hunter didn't exist, Crosshair would be the leader of that
Yeah,
of
you'd think
the
so.
Bad Batch.
Yeah, I'd agree with
Um,
that.
so then they say that they're going to lead a squad aboard the shuttle, or they're going to lead a squad aboard the Jedi cruiser, while another takes the shuttle and goes and finds the Havoc Marauder. Um, so then they're in the hallway, and in a very smart way, Tech knows exactly how many people are going, and they know what way they're going to sweep the deck.
Right.
So they know exactly how to avoid all these people to get back to the Havoc Marauder.
Which is nice
Um,
because yes, the Echo has that information. Or excuse me, I'm sorry.
no, it is Echo. Yeah.
Cross,
Oh yeah.
no, but Crosshair has that information on the Bad Batch, but the Bad Batch also have the information of like, hey, this is how Crosshair is gonna come at us, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's like two Titans facing each other, trying to figure out like what's happening right here.
Well, and it's funny because like I always bring up, Echo and Rex created all the protocols
Right.
as well as Cody. So
Right.
the way that they sweep a shuttle or the corridors is what Echo created. So he says, oh, they're doing forward to aft, so they're going to do alternate. They'll
Right.
figure out what the first one is and go down opposite ones.
Right.
And for the most part, it works.
Yeah. Until the very end. Yeah.
And then one of the clones tells, oh, they actually promoted Crosshair to commander. So he's actually technically a higher rank than Hunter now.
He's what Cody would be, right?
So Cody was a battle commander. So Cody was in charge of even like he was like it's very confusing. Cody was one of like 3 clones that were like elite commanders that
Gotcha.
ended up having like they would be in charge of like 3 ships instead of 1. That's just usually like a commander one.
Got it.
Because that's how good Cody was.
Cody was right.
Oh yeah, we get Cody in this season also. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
And we still haven't seen him. That's wild.
Right. That is
we
cool.
have so much more to go. And as they're going, they hide in one of the corridors as clones walk by. And Tech actually taps into their signals and learns what Crosshair is doing and how they want them to be pushed towards the hangar. So they decide instead the better way to do this is to go out the artillery deck. Very interesting game of cat and mouse.
Yes,
because
which is interesting because that's like the very first episode of Clone Wars, I believe, is Cat and Mouse.
That is true.
The first in like the order you should watch them.
That's true. That's a good point. And then the Bad Batch is able to easily reroute to the artillery deck, and it looks out over the entire Valley of Wreckage. What a disgusting sight of Braca. And of course, as always, Wrecker is fearful of the heights and said they're not getting out this way. that doesn't really matter because as that happens, all the squad of clone troopers come running in to the artillery deck.
And this is
Uh,
where the episode. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is where the episode is like, oh, I like this better than 9 because of everything from this point on.
that's
It's
true.
just so high intensity for me. I love it.
That is true. Um, and then the ES-04, which is just one of the dark or elite clone troopers, tells them to stand down, and Crosshair reveals himself, saying that he knew they'd tap into their comms the entire time to figure out their movements. So he led them on to be like, oh yeah, the hangar, because that's what they do, and then we'll push them to where we actually want them. And then Wrecker sarcastically greets Crosshair. And while this is happening, Tech tells Echo, while they're kind of bantering back and forth, Tech tells Echo to reverse power the laser cannons and fire them because it'll collapse the entire deck. Very smart on the toes thinking. Crosshair again keeps kind of berating them, calling them they're scavenging like rats.
Right. Which is so mean because they were brothers. Oh, it's
I
tough.
know. Saying they're traitors. And they start to move in on the position. And as always, I really like this. Whenever something happens, Hunter goes a little bit closer to Omega to kind of block her from stuff.
For sure.
And right when it's about to happen, they fire the cannon and it collapses the entire deck. Wild scene, because that's the thing. Hunter grabs Omega as they fall.
Shout out to Daddy Omega, or to Daddy Hunter.
That's interesting. Where am I? Let's see. And while that happens, they're able to finally escape. There are flame troopers. They came prepared, and they failed epically. This is a bad day for the Empire.
Bad day for the Empire.
So then they decide the best way to go is to escape through the ion engine.
Not the place you want to escape from.
Not the place you want to escape from. So they navigate their way through, and they're able to push themselves out, and it's really a choke point because Crosshair knew right away this is where they'll be. We'll put them there, and they're prepared. As soon as they exit the engine, they're able to pull away right before Crosshair snipes one of them in the head. And it's this really big standoff where they're completely surrounded, but they have the cover, so it's just a big standoff. And then Crosshair, while taunting them, decides to turn on the engine and burn them out.
Pretty scary bad stuff. Pretty bad. But this is where it's like, oh, this is like the edge of my seat kind of things that you'd like to see. And it's cool that, like, I don't know, I think people like just dismiss animation so much because they don't really care about it. But these are the kind of stories that the animation side is able to tell. That you might not be able to get in live action, where this would be harder to do. This would be a way bigger budget to, but you can do this in animation. But they actually can put you on the edge of your seat, going, "Oh my god!" And that's what people are missing out when they don't watch this animation. It was so high intensity, so much pressure, but so exciting at the same time as a Star Wars fan to watch. How are they going to get this done when they're trying to go out of this ion cannon? It's just nuts.
Oh, absolutely insane! And as the ion cannon starts to turn on, Wrecker asks if the best course of action is to use Plan 7, and Echo's like, Plan 7 doesn't make sense for this. But they figure out that they can use the explosives to disable the engine. Right. It kind of works. So they're able to set up. They waste their prize to get even with Sid. As the thermal detonators ignite, it doesn't destroy the ion cannon, but it takes the cylinder that like lets the energy push out from and breaks as that falls, letting the batch escape. But on a worse note, the flame from the ion cannon still goes forward, actually burning Crosshair as they can't catch a break. Hunter is with Omega and is split up from the group and says that they'll catch up with them later. I was not expecting Crosshair to get burned. I was not. No, that was pretty.
Like Dengar, or whatever his name is.
I know he does look like Dengar. I know he's not Dengar. Dengar is in Clone Wars. It would be a really stupid. That would be a really stupid retcon. Yeah. I don't think they'll do that. No. But it's setting up. Oh, how badly hurt is. how badly hurt is Crosshair? Does he need cybernetics? Does he need something like flameproof
Yeah,
armor?
yeah.
Does he need armor that won't come off? Hmm. Does he need to become a Death Trooper?
There you go.
That'll be interesting to see.
That could be interesting.
So, finally, as they reach the Havoc Marauder, only Hunter and Omega, they see a ton of dead clone troopers, and you're like sitting there like, who is it? Who is it? Um, and Omega asks what happened, and Hunter signals to keep quiet as something worse has happened. Um, and as that happens, we hear a voice of the famous bounty hunter who is now not dead from Boba Fett, Cad Bane, who remarks that once you know one clone, you know all of them. Like, you're easy to kill once one is there. And
It
also we get
was. Sorry.
oh yeah, I'd say we also get the appearance of the incredible droid Toto 360.
My guys, I love Cad Bane. I love Toto 360. Cad Bane is probably one of my favorite Clone War, like adversaries. I guess I would say not necessarily my favorite character, but one of my favorite adversaries. Sorry, as I'm dropping my microphone here. To get too excited talking about Cad Bane, I just did it again. Hang on 1 second. There we go. No, just to have Cad Bane back, especially where, like I said, I was sitting on the edge of my seat, like thinking the whole time, okay, when's Cal coming? Because I thought I was getting spoiled or something. And then when I hear that voice, and it's Cad Bane, and you get this Western standoff between Hunter and Cad Bane, and you got Toto 360 being Toto 360. It was awesome. It was so cool to see. What I love the best is, like you said, he's not dead from Boba Fett like we had originally thought. It was cool to see like that cybernetic part in his head that was shown in like the shown in episode 9. You see that piece,
Yeah,
I guess, in his left orbital of his head. But we'll get to see the renderings for him, or the sketches of him of like what he looked like, and that was there too. But it was great to know that that wasn't lost. That that's still part of canon, I guess, that happened. But no, so excited to see Cad Bane. It's like one of the Funkos I really to this day I'm upset that I never got was when they made the I think it was a Comic Con exclusive, but it honestly might have been a the Star Wars convention exclusive. It was one of those two, and I like
oh,
remember it was,
The
yeah, and
Funko
I
for Cad
remember it
Bane.
was, yeah, I remember it was sold at Hot Topic, and I saw it so many times. I was like, I'll get it. And then when I went to go finally get it, it was gone, and it was like, oh my god, I can't believe I missed out on that. And still to this day, I can't believe I missed out on it because I love Cad Bane so much. But no, super excited to have him back, and this scene is just incredible.
Yeah, I was shocked. Yeah, the Cad Bane is worth $65. Then if you have the exclusive one, it's worth $210.
Yeah,
So, yeah, absolutely incredible. Great villain, and we get he's like the peak. He's what a bounty hunter is to Dave
yes,
Filoni. He
yeah.
is the cowboy,
Cowboy gunslinger,
down to
everything
the
about it.
everything, down to the
Yeah,
everything. And Hunter tells him that he's not going to let him take Omega, and they get into the old standoff, and the guns get drawn where Hunter misses Bane but hits Toto 360 in the boot, and then Cad Bane quickly fires off, hitting him on the opposite side chest away from the heart, which I thought was an interesting placement because he could have
yeah,
done something worse than that,
for sure.
or it was just pure luck. And Hunter's down for the count as Omega was running towards Hunter, tries to fire her bow, but Toto whacks it away. And then Bane apologizes and stuns her, and then we get your favorite thing where, well, we see the wounded Crosshair, looking very much like Dengar, getting very upset that the fugitives are getting away, and then you see the most action video game scene where Hunter's like bobbing up and down, like his vision's blurring, and you have Wrecker trying to get him back on the ship, and they get him back on the ship. He's alive, and he says that they took Omega.
For a couple seconds there, I know he wouldn't have died, but like for a couple seconds there, I was like, oh my
So
god,
did
they did it
I.
in episode 8. Episode 8, they just killed him, but obviously they didn't. But it was like you said, it's like that Call of Duty kind of style where his eyes are blinking, he's kind of coherent, he's picked up bits and pieces of him getting dragged into the ship. But I loved the way they did that. Maybe that's because I didn't play a lot of Call of Duty because I stink at first person shooters, but no, I like the way they did that to reveal, hey, he's alive, he's awake, he's coming back to consciousness. I thought was really good.
It's all fun and games until Star Wars makes a first-person shooter.
There we go.
Then you got to learn. But no, absolutely great episode, great setup. I was so mad that that was the cliffhanger.
Yes. But then we get to talk about the next one right after this.
Then
So
we do. We get to talk about Bounty Lost. The batch embarked on a rescue mission. They really didn't, though.
no.
No,
We greatly saw them this whole time.
They had a lot of help.
Yes.
So we actually open up where the Havoc Marauder is being pursued above Braca by Crosshair, and he is pissed. This luckily it was only an attack transport shuttle that was going against the Havoc Marauder, and Crosshair is like, "Do not let them get away. We need them." And as this is happening, Wrecker's actually manning the back turret. This is the first time we've seen the back turret really used.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I don't think we saw it used in Clone Wars.
No,
this was a different ship, so I guess
That's true. And then Tech wants to make the jump to hyperspace, but Hunter says we can't abandon Omega. We need to get her. And Echo's like, this bounty hunter is long gone. We need to get away and recoup. Finally, as the rear deflector shields are failing, Hunter says, okay, fine, go to hyperspace. And they do. And Crosshair loses again. This man can't win.
Cannot win.
But then we get to see where Omega is as she awakens in a holding cell on Cad Bane's ship, Justifier. We've seen this
Time out real quick.
Yes.
I love the name the Justifier as like a ship. I think it's, especially for a bounty hunter, I love but
if it was a Lego set, it'd just be Cad Bane's ship.
Well, what can you do?
I had to make a joke in there. I had to find a way to. I had to find a way to put it in, just like how the Havoc Marauder is called the Bad Batch's shuttle, but people only want to be fake mad. And the Justifier is traveling through hyperspace. As always, we know there's energy shields, and Toto is hobbling around trying to fix his blown off leg. And Omega's like, "Let me out! I don't want to be here." And the droid. It's also voiced by Tom Kenny, one of the best voice actors out there. Kind of taunts her.
Toto 360 reminds me of as a droid. Sorry to interrupt.
Who?
Captain Rex. But like a bad Captain Rex, a little bit. I don't know why. Just like his mannerisms and stuff. He's very funny.
Huh. Interesting. I don't, but I respect it. But Tom Kenny, who voices SpongeBob and probably 99% of your other favorite childhood things, is that. So he's really just taunting her, and said that, and Toto just warns her, just comply with Cad Bane. He doesn't do well when prisoners don't cooperate. And then Bane approaches in his full gear, asking how the asset is. Omega insists on being called Omega. He doesn't really care, but he introduces himself as Cad Bane and says that she's lucky that it's a need to be alive bounty, or else it would have gone very different. Toto asks if Bane can fix his leg, and he just ignores him, walks away. What a time. And then as this is going, Bane contacts Prime Minister Lama Su. This is where we get the confirmation, finally, that we know who is trying to get Omega, especially with what Fennec was doing. And Lama Su telling him that Omega is alive and insists on getting the premium, so all about his money.
Yep.
And Lama Su warns Cad Bane to keep the quarry alive, and Bane tells Lama Su to bring the unmarked credits to their prearranged coordinates.
Yes.
And then we're on Kamino, where Nala Se tells Lama Su that she will deliver the credits to Cad Bane to retrieve Omega. The Prime Minister disagrees because of the personal interest in the young clone threatens their operation enough already. Very interesting.
This is where we're getting that little rock meets rock little quarrel here between the Kaminoans. Kaminoans, thank you, I always mess that up.
It's very interesting. And then Lama Su instead sends Tonwei to rendezvous with Bane in the abandoned Kamino factory on Borovio. Very cool that we know that they used to clone on other places. Sets up other questions as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially where you have like a lot of like clone things happening in the new trilogy, that they're like, it makes sense that there are other places to clone besides just the clones that we got for soldiers in the Clone Wars, that there are other places on other planets where cloning takes place and probably different experimentation on cloning and people take place. So that's interesting to world building, I guess. It's nice world building.
It knows that Camino was not just an isolated location.
It's not just there. Yeah,
They were just good at hiding themselves.
for sure. Yes.
And just instructs, pay the bounty hunter and bring back the property. Interesting to see property versus human. And then Lamasu also orders that Omega be confined to a sub-level facility. And then once they've retrieved her genetic material, he orders that Omega be terminated. Nalase looks very troubled but remains silent.
Real quick,
Go
that's
ahead.
like a big thing with like these bad guys is they wanted to like they did it for Grogu too, like get his material and then he's done, he's
And then
eliminated, done. I'm like, why? Just when you want, I don't know, like I don't think you should keep him, but scientifically, I feel like I don't get why they're doing it. I guess like maybe Grogu because he was a Jedi and training to be a Jedi, he's dangerous there, and Omega has a lot of sentience about her. So she gets it, so that's why you maybe try to kill her off, I guess. But I don't know, very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. As I yawn. Meanwhile, Toto is continuously grumbling about Hunter shooting off his leg, and Omega says that he was only protecting her, and that because that's what friends do. And then Omega asks Toto why Bane isn't helping him, and as always, the droid finds the way. He's very busy, and he's attempting to repair his own leg,
Yeah,
and fails miserably. And then Wikipedia says taking pity on Toto. I do not agree with that.
no, she
But
did all smart.
in air quotes, taking pity on Toto, Omega offers to help fix his leg and explains that it's just a simple booster adjustment, and she's done it a bunch of times. And then he's like, "No, I can't. You're the prisoner. I can't allow the prisoner to escape." Finally, he does agree, and then, as always, Omega being the smart one she is, repairs the droid, and is able to turn him off. Then they're talking about rescue plans back on the Havoc Marauder. Unless you have anything else to add about
Nope.
that. Back on it, the Old Republic databases, Echo is able to recognize the bounty hunter who kidnapped Omega as Cad Bane, who had multiple run-ins with the Jedi, as well as attempted to kidnap Palpatine. If only he succeeded.
Would have been a lot less movie staff.
Well, actually, I think it was that Cad Bane was hired by the Confederacy to capture Palpatine, and then they would have had to negotiate the surrender, and Sidious would have won.
Oh yeah, he always comes out on top.
Exactly, he would have always won.
Yeah.
Wrecker asks why the bounty hunter on Pantora and Bane want the kid, and then walking up, Tech says that Omega is more valuable than they had ever realized, because after analyzing her genetic structure, he discovered that she has pure first-generation DNA. And Wrecker asks what that means, and Tech explains that all clones were created from the genetic template of Jango Fett, but then their genetic structure was modified for growth and obedience. Omega is a pure genetic. Yeah.
That answers a question we had the other day. Like, do they even know who Jango Fett is? And they have the information. They might not know who he is, but they at least know Jango Fett's a thing as a person, I guess. Sorry to interrupt.
And Omega is a pure genetic replication. People were making jokes earlier, like she's a pure genetic replication, but as a woman. They meant like she does not have growth acceleration. She does not have the obedience. Right. She is just pure DNA.
Yes.
Which is very cool. And then Hunter asked how many clones like that exist, and Tech says that to his knowledge, the only other one was a male clone originally named Alpha, but later referred to as Boba.
I love this. Cliff, no Nostradamus Cliff over here, just getting everything right. Cliff, I think you sent it to me in text. Marvel and Disney should just hire you because you already know where things are going.
They
might as well just let you do the stories at this point because you were predicting that the other day that he was going to be Alpha.
Yep, and it just makes sense because, and that's the Alpha to the Omega joke at the beginning. If people weren't paying attention,
I guess the big thing that doesn't make sense is like who. So obviously Boba Jango specifically requested Boba to be unaltered and stuff like that. So was this a Jango project? Was this somebody else that wanted to do this? That wanted to have Omega completely first gen, unaltered, anything like that. So we don't know about that. So I'm hoping we get an answer. I'm assuming we get an answer eventually.
I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of answers about Omega.
For sure.
But they also stated that since Boba Fett disappeared at the start of the Clone Wars, she is the sole remaining source of raw genetic material, which can make more stuff, more clones. Exactly. That's why they need her. And then Echo realizes that the Kaminoans have put the bounty on Omega since she's that valuable to the cloning efforts. And Hunter tells Tech to contact Sid to see any information about Cad Bane. So then we go back as she's able to trick Toto. She's able to finally retrieve her comm device and hide as Cad Bane is on. Finally gets to Borovia and is like, "Where'd she go? Where'd the kid go?" And of course, Toto, poor Toto,
Poor Toto.
poor Toto. Poor name too, because all I can think of is Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And then as they land, Omega's always able to escape off a ship undetected.
Always.
It's very impressive. And as they get off, she's running around and is trying to contact the Bad Batch on her comm device. Mm-hmm. We quickly go back to the Havoc Marauder as Echo says that Sid doesn't know about Bane's whereabouts and said they're on their own. It also seems to me like Sid is becoming a lesser... Like, she's still giving them information.
Right.
Like, it's so weird. Like, I don't know what to think of her now.
Yeah, Sid's still out for herself, I think. So she wants them back, I think. Because it helps her.
It does. It does help her. That is a very good point. And meanwhile... you
got this.
I know, right? And then finally, while this is happening, right as they say they're on their own, Hunter is able to pick up Omega's long-range transmission, and Echo tries to boost the original signal, and she says that she's here but doesn't know where that is. Wrecker says they're coming for her, and Echo warns them that the signal is too weak to establish a direct connection line. And then Hunter tells Omega to find a door panel similar to the one on Topoka City, and then Tech will be able to relay it and find the location from the energy pulse.
Lots of science and math going on.
Lots of science and math. I understood it. It made sense to me.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Thankfully for animation, they make it so idiots like myself and kids can figure this out.
Tech tells, and when Omega finds it, Tech tells Omega to activate it, causing the door to open. And Tech tells them to reroute the circuit in order to overload the main grid. However, Bane catches up to her as soon as this happens, telling her that by crook or by hook, which, yikes, she will come with him. As he cuffs her, Tech says he's still struggling to get a good read, and Omega calls Hunter for help, but Bane crushes the comm device with his boot. She was just given it.
Yeah, poor thing.
Poor thing.
Poor Omega. We love Omega here on the pod.
We do.
I'll give her a call.
Everyone does.
Yes.
I know. And then we go back as an old friend, in air quotes.
A friend of me.
Toto is happily jumping around on his new leg as he detects an unidentified ship approaching, and Bane says to check out who it is while he drags Omega as she protests. And that's the thing where Bane says she's lucky. You're lucky that they want you alive. And Omega says who? Bane doesn't tell her, and tells her to be silent. As they move through this corridor, they find Ton Wei lying dead on the floor.
R-I-P-D-E-A-D, dead.
D-E-A-D, dead. We have Kaminoan on Kaminoan attack. Crime. Kaminoan on Kaminoan crime. And Omega wants to help her, but Bane says she's already dead. And as this happens, Fennec Shan surfaces out of the mist and raises her blaster at Bane. Shane holds a case of credits and her gun in the other. Shan greets him, and Bane tells her that she has no business messing with his score, and Shan tells him that he, of all people, should know it is all about the price. Shan says that Omega was her first score, was there first, and that they go way back. What an introduction.
One episode.
What an episode, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this is where, like, the rubber hits the road, where basically the rest of this episode is just battle after battle, where it's two elite bounty hunters between Cad Bane and Fennec Shane just going toe for toe, tip for tap. Just awesome stuff here.
And then as this happens, Bane says that he'll give her the girl if she gives him the credits. never trust Cad Bane as Shand gives the credits to Toto, and then as that happens, Cad Bane throws a thermal detonator, but she's able to kick it as
Does she give it to Toto? I thought Toto like just grabs it.
oh maybe she just
Yeah,
grabs it,
he
but
just grabs it.
then he tries to avoid it,
Yes,
and the credits go everywhere.
which is
And
pretty funny.
oh,
All that for
it
nothing.
was great. It was hilarious, and of course Bane is then pissed. He's like, my credits. And as this happens, Shan and Cad Bane get into a big battle with each other as Omega is able to flee into the corridors.
I love this.
And this is what we can talk about the fight first because it was impressive. Shan, and we also see the cybernetic plate on Cad Bane's head, so we know that he has had that run-in with Boba Fett.
Yeah,
really cool.
The week before, in between 8 and 9, we did get like renderings. I don't know what the word is, but basically like, sketches.
We got concept.
Thank you, perfect for it. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Concept art of Cad Bane, and we saw that plate, but I was awesome. I didn't think we are actually going to see it.
I know. I was glad we saw it.
Saw it right very next episode. We saw that plate. I guess was really cool to have seen.
Yeah, it was definitely good. It was needed, and Toto goes looking for Omega, and Omega is able to find a room with an actual console. But also in that room, she finds green tanks containing frozen creatures. Like, that's odd.
Right.
And she's finally able to send out a signal, which Echo picks up, and they find out that she is in the Leto system. And the Bad Batch is off to save her.
Yeah.
And then
this had big time feels of Empire Strikes Back, and
it really did
because like the city they're on kind of looks like Bespin a little bit, but the whole rescue thing it very much reminded me of Luke getting rescued by Lando and Leia and Chewbacca in
that makes sense.
Episode
That's a
5.
good way to say it.
I had a lot of big vibes with this, and of course we get these green containers. You see that you kind of think clone question mark. So it seems like Star Wars is very big on this like clone game at this point between Mandalorian, now this show, obviously Clone Wars, and what happens with Palpatine and Snoke in 789. They're very big on the clone thing lately.
Clones are a way of the world.
They really are.
And yeah, Shan ends up getting the complete upper hand and knocks Cad Bane out, and then she's off to find Omega. And then Shan is able to corner Omega in the communication center, and she claims that her friends won't get there in time. She's the only person Omega can truly rely on is herself. And then she asks, "Why did you kill Tan Wei?" And it's part of the job. Who's hired Shan now? Yeah. And that Shan says that she should be thanked because the Prime Minister of Kamino would have killed her. Or said far worse than why she's here. And then it's very interesting because Omega kind of plays dumb, like why do they want me?
Right.
You know who you are.
I know. You might
because Fennec says you already know the answer.
Okay, so then I guess she does. All right. Stand corrected.
I mean, unless Fennec is just being mean.
Just doesn't assume, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is assuming, yeah.
And Shan does claim that she is trying to help Omega, which we actually know is true. Yeah. As the audience, we know it's true. And then Omega talks about the previous encounters. And while this is happening, Toto kind of jumps into the mix, and Omega kicks him into one of the green tanks, which begins to crack and falls on Fennec. That sounds like a horror. I would just leave. I'd be like, I'm out.
I'm done. It's fine. Not worth the credits. Not worth anything here. It's fine. But we know that's not Fennec. We know she's a badass baddie hunter, and she's not going to let anything green slime stop her.
Exactly. Exactly. And then
but we're done at that point.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out.
Hit the showers.
And as this happens, Bane comes back into the mix against Shan. Shan gets him again. It's this bad day for bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple more back and forth between Cad Bane.
Some good fight scenes.
Some good fight scenes. I know.
Awesome fight scenes. You have to watch it, basically. Scenes.
And Fennec does save Omega again, and then finally, she jumps into one of the little like like the little like ball fly,
Yeah.
like the little like ball spaceships, and launches herself out. Um, which then starts to fail because this facility hasn't been used in forever. So while Fennec and Cad Bane are fighting, this flight pod is flying away, and Toto's trying to get there, but fails. And finally, as it rockets off and starts to fall to what would be her death, something latches on to it as the Bad Batch is able to safely save her and pull her aboard the Havoc Marauder as they're able to get away. It also says Gonki was there. I missed that. And then, oh no, she didn't know because Omega asks
No.
what's happening, why they're after her, and Echo tells Hunter to tell Omega the truth. And then Hunter tells Omega that she's more valuable than all the clones, that she's different, and she asks how.
And we assume that he goes into the whole story after that, yeah. So she finds out.
How you're the only female clone that doesn't age fast. What do you think, Omega?
But she might not
why
know
are
about
you
like
different?
how she was created. I don't know.
That's
like,
true.
She might not realize she's first gen or anything.
That's true.
She might not have any idea who Jango Fett is, unlike Boba. Does Jango Fett owe child support for Omega? Probably.
Well, he's dead. He's dead,
well,
so he doesn't.
Yeah, that's fair. Never mind. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So who was some guy like Mace Windu, something like that?
Well, he's dead. He's technically dead, also.
Yeah, but Mace Windu,
or he's MIA. He's MIA.
I don't know if you watch just how many episodes was Mandalorian last season? 8?
That's
9?
true.
If you watch just the first 7, yeah, he might still be alive until you see Luke Skywalker.
And then finally, Cad Bane just says, "Okay, we're getting out of here. We failed this. Just get us out of here."
He does use those little rocket boots.
He does.
Shout out to those returning because those were always awesome back in Clone Wars.
And it actually, we find out that the engines were sabotaged.
Yes.
As Bane, very upset, watches Fennec fly away in her starship. She comes prepared. And then meanwhile, on Fennec's ship, she contacts Nala Se, who requests an update. And Shan tells her that Omega was rescued by the same clones that she encountered on Pantorum. She says that she can track them down, but it will cost extra. Nala Se tells Fennec that Omega is safe as long as she is not in the hands of Lama Su.
Yes.
Nala Se says that she will transfer her payment, and Fennec says that if she changes her mind, she knows where to reach her. That was a big mic drop. So Nala, everyone has ulterior motives.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like in this case, Fennec Shan is the good guy, but it's because she's working for the one that has Omega's interest at heart.
Right. And then finally, our final scene, as all the Bad Batch is resting, they're all sleeping, Omega walks into the cockpit and sits beside Hunter. And Omega says that she keeps thinking about the Kaminoans, seeing that place. She says she doesn't want to end up as an experiment in a tube. Omega fears that since she's valuable, Lama Su will keep sending bounty hunters after her. And Hunter says that Lama Su can send everyone in the galaxy, but they can't have her. Omega says that they can't fight them all, and Hunter tells her not to worry because she's not going back to Kamino. Omega asks him to promise, and Hunter says he promises.
Just a beautiful
father-daughter moment.
Just love to see it.
How beautiful. Yeah, that's the episode.
It was a great 2 episodes.
It was, yeah, exactly. Like this show, this first season's going to be excellent to rewatch all in one go.
Wait.
Right. Very good. Honestly, we can probably almost watch their arc in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Go right into it because, well, the Bad Batch arc in Clone Wars takes place during the Outer Rim sieges, and when they win that fight, so when they get Echo back, that's when episode 3 starts, and they go right from it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very happy with this. I'm excited for Friday. I don't know where we're going to go next. I hope we get a more Crosshair centric episode again. I think that they left him injured, so we need to kind of see that. And we know that they're fine deviating away from the Bad Batch for a good amount of time.
Right. So. Yeah, no, it's all good stuff. This is great Star Wars content. It's world building. It's new characters, exploring these characters in a way that makes you care about them. Even though what do we have? 4 episodes in the Clone Wars, right?
Yep.
And now we have 9 episodes here. So in 13 episodes, we really build a relationship with these clones, and even with Omega. And Omega, we were all hooked on first 2 episodes, basically. Really. That
We
you
went from
first watched.
everyone complaining about the Bad Batch to now everyone wanting more.
It's must watch every single week.
It
It's on the
is.
same level as Loki and all that stuff. So like, if you're a Star Wars fan and you're not watching the animated, I don't know what you're doing. It's fine if you want to. You're still a Star Wars fan if you don't watch the animated. But if you're a Star Wars fan, like this is a must watch show. It's great content. It's great Star Wars storytelling for sure.
I will say this is not a dig at anyone, because sometimes people don't like animation. That's
For
fine.
sure, that's fine.
But if you don't like animation for the sole purpose of it's childish, my response to you is grow up.
You're watching a movie with aliens in it. They just have costumes instead of animated like features.
And that's the
But
whole
Cliff,
thing. Yeah.
oh sorry, go
I'll
ahead.
end on that's the whole thing of let people enjoy what they
Let
like.
people enjoy what they
Let
enjoy.
people enjoy. But yeah, we get to the time where everyone likes. You can find me on social media at CP Robinson81, and Cam gets all the fun of rattling off everything.
You can find me on Twitter at CamRamos95. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Stream the Mouse. On Facebook and Instagram, you can find us at Stream with the Mouse, and you can find us on our website, cprob.com/Stream the Mouse. You can also be sure to find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and now on YouTube, where you can see the video version of this. So you can see my Funko Pops in the background. You can see, Cliff, is this the last time you have this background right now?
I think it is.
And
How
like
exciting.
Cliff is going to be moving, so Cliff will have a new background. Eventually, Cliff is going to be down the street from me, basically, so we'll actually be able to record in person for the first time
How exciting.
in the podcast existence. So all good things coming. Programming update for this week. So we will be recording on Friday as opposed to Thursday. So you can expect Loki episode 4 recap. What do you
On
think?
Saturday.
Saturday morning? Yeah, we'll do Saturday morning. We'll have that released out to you. So if you want to listen to the 4th of July weekend, great. If you want to listen to it after it, but definitely some listening material if you're going to be driving around to 4th of July parties, because we can be out with humans again if you're vaccinated.
Very true.
So it's very nice.
Very true, very true. So for Cam Ramos, my name is Clifton Paul Robinson signing off. Have a good day, everyone, and may the force be with you.
May the force be with you, everyone. Have a magical day.